I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I've gone around the houses with all the technical stuff. I can sit there and sweat over the clap or the snare for a day or an hour or 2 hours. But mate, it is what it is, and the reaction, and as well, like, we don't dictate what a good tune is or what the banger is.
Yeah.
We'll sit there, we'll bounce the tune out, we'll probably sit back and think, that's probably the best work I've done. 100%, it's going to go off. Send it out, no one says nothing. And then you'll have a tune that you've worked on quickly and you thought, oh, let me just quickly throw that out there. And everyone goes mad for it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's mad the way it works. And I think you have to go around the houses to learn the technical stuff.
Yeah.
To then realise that just take it or leave it.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is. To take it or leave it.
Yeah, to be fair, we've found that some of my best music has literally been me and Freya sitting there just picking like 10 sounds. I'm like, right, I like that sound, I like that sound. Get it in as quick as you possibly can to where you don't get bored of it. Like there's probably tunes that are pretty much finished. They just need a mix down on the master that I now don't like as much as what I did when I was making. Because I've listened to it so many times, I'm like, oh, it doesn't give me that same feeling anymore. I've lost my interest. It's gone now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like finding that point between keeping your interest higher, but also it's still got to be finished. You still got to sound finished, you know? Yeah,
totally. Like I remember seeing this interview with Elton John, and he said if he has to spend more than 15 minutes on a tune, he scraps it.
Yeah,
it's dead. Most of his songs have been written really quickly.
Yeah.
No, okay. He plays the piano, he sings. It's not going to take too much for him to just strike a note and do that. But there is something to that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I find the same. If I've got some time, and I find I always work when I've got like a limitation. So for example, I have to go pick up my oldest from school. I've got 45 minutes. I've got a window, and I'm like, oh, there's no one here. I'm quickly smash out a tune. I'll knock out an idea. I might even knock out two. Quickly sketch them out, and I know I'll come back to them. They're good.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm like, everyone's out, got the whole day in the studio, I don't even bother because I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit there, start flicking through my phone, get some drums down, think, mate, them days are gone.
Yeah.
The spontaneous ones, like even with Eddie, they're the better ones.
Quick ones like that, and then you go back and you kind of tighten them up and stuff, and that. A lot of it starts with sound choice.
Yeah.
Sound choice is the one. Let's
get you mic'd up, bro. We're ready to go, mate. We're ready to go. Yeah, let's get you mic'd up, man.
I'm there.
Oh, babe, do you want to? I don't think I've ever mic'd anyone up before, so leave that for Freya.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know if you.
Oh yeah, can I charge my phone?
Yeah, of course, bro. Yeah, of course, man.
I'll put that on charge.
Oh, thank you. Can't forget that as well. My mum will kill me for charger. She goes, she's out after me. She'll be like.
That's the worst.
I couldn't find mine. Yeah.
I've got some notes. I've been making notes over the week, but I'd just like to get them all jotted down. I'm sorry, I'm not on my phone while we're doing it.
Nothing. No, there's no strategies with me, bro. Just ask me.
No, of course, man. To be fair, it's a lot of the people we've interviewed have not had as much time in the game as you, so I think this will be really easy for both of us.
There's one thing I could do is talk a lot about.
Yeah, mate. Do you know what to
myself as well?
Your content, like the way. Because them style of videos, like the voiceover videos, mate, they've been smashing it. And like they're actually proper captivating as well, because every time it pops up, I'm like, oh shit, it's my man again. Let's listen to what he's got to say in it. Like,
do you know what? That's a funny story, bro. Do you want me to sit down, like, and
yeah?
I'll sit down. I'm just stretching the legs, obviously.
Let's sit down, bro. Innit?
I'm old, man, so my legs get all rickety if I don't stretch, man.
We'll just roll it off, and we'll just keep talking. And then once we're filming, baby. Yeah. Once we're ready, and I feel like we're glued in enough, we'll then introduce it. What is it? Episode 11, isn't it? Yeah. 11-1 mastering. Yeah. Let me just get a couple of these little bits down.
Yeah. So them videos, like, honestly, I can't deal with the whole edited thing, like stop scrolling, zooming in, and I can't.
The hooks,
that, mate. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. I can't, and it's just not me.
Yeah,
it's not me, right? And I had to go around the houses with that stuff because I did some work with people, which was sharing a lot of educational content, right? And I've done that for years. I've been sharing knowledge and tips for years and years and years, right? But it's always been to a smaller audience, just people that have known me mostly for my music.
Yeah.
As opposed to now known as a mixing and mastering engineer, which, is kind of something I had to work on a lot. I had to disassociate myself almost with being an artist because people put you in a box.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I master everything from heavy metal to grime, dubstep, house, nursery rhymes, ambience. the whole shebang. I've worked with everything. But people will look at me and because I've worked in drum and bass and dubstep and grime, they think that I just master
Strictly
that.
for that, yeah.
And I'm not. I'm a mixing and mastering engineer. That makes this stuff, you know, like kind of on the side. And I did all that kind of, like I started doing the content as I wanted to do it. And I don't know, it was, you know what social media is like. You could sit on 900 followers for 2 years, right? And it's the same people, and I appreciate the same people that chime in and support and that. But then I found myself getting caught in this thing where I was kind of trying to be like people around me that I was working with. And honestly, to record the content I was trying to record and edit the videos and edit the reels and put little moving emojis in the background or stuff like that and have them a bit more scripted, it would take me about an hour or so to record a 2 minute or get it under a minute and things like that.
Yeah.
And it would do my head in. It would stress me out massively. And I can't operate in that way. And like, I'd be going over these words so many times that they wouldn't even sound like words anymore.
Yeah.
Like much. I think, am I actually even saying a word anymore? Is that even right? And I'm Googling what I'm saying, second guessing. Them videos you see now, that blue t-shirt I wear, that's my pajama top, bruv. I wake up in the morning, I sort the kids out, I'll go in the garden, I'll go in the kitchen, 3 minutes, boom, warts and all, fumbles and all, bang, that's me.
Yeah.
Captions, video, done. Because it's not about spending the time on the content. As long as I get the message across, it does not matter to me. As long as I get my message across and like the information is right to what I'm trying to do, my time is spent replying to messages, talking to people, replying to comments. That's where the time needs to go. Not in the spending 2 hours getting a good video together for it to kind of sometimes fall on deaf ears and not hard. Break through the algorithm, right?
And when they don't, it's hard as well because you feel like you spent all that time for.
Yeah, you kind of like it's hard work, and I did it for years, right, with this company I was working with, and it just, and then, you know, like the end of the video, you'd put in, you know, oh yeah, and by the way, come and check us out here, or you know, check out our online course. One of the things that I made sure that I don't do and I refuse to do is try and sell people stuff. Yeah, my stories are littered with that. Yeah, mixing, mastering, mentoring. That's the stories. Take it or leave it. But all I'm trying to do is share knowledge. Yeah, that's it. The green screen thing, I stumbled across that because if you scroll back, you actually see videos of me just talking into the camera. Yeah, with about 10 likes, 20 likes. Yeah, a few views. And then one day someone sent me a pre-master that was red lining, and I thought, oh, let me try this green screen thing. I stumbled across it. Literally took a picture of my door and I did it. I swear to God, I woke up to an absolute madness on my Insta. Yeah. It broke through the algorithm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Honestly, it was in the kitchen, it was echoey, I was half asleep, I just recorded it. And it broke through. And I was looking at it and I was showing my missus, and it went from like, I had like, seriously, like about 2 months ago, I had just under 1,000 followers that I'd had for about 2 years since I started 1111 Mastering, and I started that new Instagram page. I'm now on over 8.5k. It grew. I had about 2,000 to 3,000 new followers in just over a week because of this one video that broke through. And I was showing my missus and I was like, I don't know if this is legit. I don't know what's going on here. This is weird for me, right? And then all the comments and everything, because it's all well and good getting the plays, but if there's no interaction, it's dead, bro.
There's so much, because so many people have their own opinions on it as well, that do you know what, it's made you say that with like content creation and stuff like that, because we do a lot of content with Househeads, and a lot of it does really good on like the numbers, but our followers have not quite got to that point. Like, they're reaching people. We can see that they're reaching people, that people are engaging, but we haven't got the following off the back of it. But on a side note to that, me and my friend started up a plumbing business maybe about a year ago now, and we started doing plumbing videos, you know, like you see on TikTok, stuff like that.
Yeah, just sharing tips on plumbing.
Some of them have got like 400, and this is like, to be fair, I didn't have much to do with this. This was mainly my business partner, but some of them have got like 400k on these short little reels, and you're like, fucking hell, I'm trying my best with this.
And that shit's useful. Someone like me will watch it. I don't know about plumbing, but I'll be like, mate, that's useful, because I'm. But
it's like, even just like the style of videos he would do, like, to be fair, his were quite he would make them quite hooky, is like the thing you was describing. Like they were, you could tell
you can plant things in there.
Oh, the rage bait online. Oh my god, it was so good. Like there was just some small things, and you've just got plumbers, like you've got old plumbers, young plumbers, all arguing in the comments, going, "Oh, this is not the way to do it." That's
great for the algorithm.
Oh no,
opens it all up. It's hard to deal with sometimes because some people try and come at me like. I put up one about limiting. It was a simple tip, like take it or leave it tip. And mate, the limiting gurus come out and it went off. It went off, and I was just like, whoa. And there's some guy who's hitting me up who's going, you've been around for a couple of years. He proper done his research into my mastering company, right? He was like, you've been around for a couple of years. You're going into AI and sharing this knowledge. And I was like, bruv, back up, bruv. I've been in the game for a little bit longer than that, yeah? Sit down and behave yourself. That's it. I left it at that. And then he was coming and goes, I've been a DJ since the mid-90s. I've been spinning this. Oh, bruv, I don't care, man. Like, I don't care. I just give him a thumbs up. And then you get other people chime in and start sort of kind of defending me and that. And it just gets crazy, bruv. People lose the plot sometimes on things. It's
a dangerous place.
That's why it's so important to hedge your language. That's all you have to do. Because if you hedge your language and you leave no stone unturned in that sense, like you can say, as I said in the video, blah, blah, blah. But they don't reply. Yeah. They don't reply. And it's like, it's cool. So you kind of just, see, I've got enough experience and I can articulate myself well enough. And I know the landscape and I know the music industry is the most reactive of all, of any type of industry. Everyone knows best. Everyone has swallowed a couple of manuals and they've worked with a couple of people where they think they are top dog. And you have to really be careful. Firstly, I don't talk about things that I'm not 100% sure of. Absolutely. Like, that's not how it goes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially from someone from a teaching standpoint as well.
Exactly, because you don't want to mislead people. Like, and there's times when I've said things maybe incorrectly. I'll remix the video and I'll correct it. I'll put it's minor things. They're not like detrimental to what I've said, and it doesn't like contradict what I've said. They're just little things, So you have to kind of just be cautious of that. But just going back to the numbers thing, which is really interesting, right? So way back, I had a different Instagram account when it was just an artist Instagram account. So I was pushing an album. So I thought, how can I try and open up the algorithm to promote my album, right? So I stumbled across, get them videos of people doing some crazy stuff. Like there was this drunk guy trying to jump over this kind of bridge, and he missed it, and he bounced his head off the side of the bridge and fell in the water, right? He was fine, but I thought, I'll take that and I'll line up my music to it, right? So there's a drum and bass track. So when he hit his head, the track dropped, so it was all kind of synced up. Short video, right? I swear to God that had 500,000 plays. 500,000 plays. Yeah. Bruv, it had one comment, a few likes. It certainly didn't help me sell any album. Like tunes. And I didn't get no new followers. Yeah. And that's where it's really telling, where like the numbers, they do matter, but certain numbers, certain metrics. I don't care about the plays. I could get 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 plays. It's all about the comments and the interactions. And are my DMs popping off the back of it? Like I can say that my DMs pop a lot to the point where it's hard to kind of stay on top of it, right? Because me, some people might say foolishly, I say at the end of my videos, my inbox is open if you want to chat about music production, right? Because I'm a voice note guy. Someone sends me a message, I'll jump on a voice note. I know my stuff that much that most of the time there isn't much that people reach out to me that I don't have an answer for, right? And it's always at the forefront of my mind. Someone reaches out, it takes a minute to reply, bang, and that's them. Straight off the back of that, they're like, I need someone to master this, or can you master this for me? Can you do some mentoring? And the business side of it has been where I've looked and thought, this is now serving its real purpose, what I kind of needed. Because for me, the social media side of things was always where there was a little gap in the business. Always. I've always done all right. Because I know how to work the music industry. Like I do this full time. I don't just mix and master. I do a lot of things behind the scenes. But
so you now
full-time music. Full-time music. I've done it for like about 7 or 8 years.
Probably one of the first people we spoke to that are full-time music.
Yeah, I live off it and
feed a family off it as well.
I live all right, bruv.
There you go.
It's not just paying the bills. I'm good.
Right, yes, people. This is episode 11 of the Househeads podcast. We have got... I've got a bit of a stuffy throat today. I'm really excited for this one. This is probably the most experienced guy we've had in the seat. As he just said, works full-time music, 25 years in the game?
I'd say at a competitive level, yeah.
So 25 years in the game. 1111 mastering. This guy is popping on Instagram at the moment. You will see his green screen videos with mastering tips, mix down tips, everything really a producer would need. And that goes for all genres as well. So yeah, I'm super excited to welcome him on. Let's crack back on where he was, because we was in a nice little flow there. Right, sorry, I do just want to ask, because your story's pretty cool, to be honest, and there will... Yeah, I want to know. So how did you get into music?
So, a long story short, because there's quite a lot there in like the timeline, many twists and turns over the 25 years actually. But, so my dad was a disco DJ, right? So I grew up around decks anyway, right, as a kid. He'd always stake a little claim that I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it weren't for him, right? Yeah. That's not totally the case. So anyhow, I got my first set of decks at the age of 14, right? And they were Canby, the X180 belt drives. Now I'm a jungle drum and bass kid. That's where I grew up, right? And quite fortunately, at the age of 15, well, at the time probably didn't look like a good look, but I got booted out of school at the age of 15. But the way it was done was I was put on extended work experience in a record shop. Sick. It was in my hometown of Bedford. There's a place called Just a Groove. Massive shout out to KC, by the way, who took me in when no one else would. And I was meant to do 2 days at the shop, 3 days at school. So I'd go to the record shop for 2 days at 15, and then I wouldn't go to school for the 3 days. So I didn't want to know. Then they made it 3 days at the shop, 2 days at school, and then they just cut the cord. That was it. There was no like issue for my dad or nothing like that. I was literally working in this record shop. I learned how to use Technics. I was like a little bit of a superstar around Bedford town at that age, do you know what I mean? And I ended up on the circuit pretty young. So from the age of like 15 to 18, I played at Hysteria, Dreamscape, Pure X. So many of them type of raves. All right, not necessarily main room. You know, if I was, it was very early. I was in room 2 or room 3. But I did a lot at a very, very, very young age. And then one day, my mate said to me, Kev, Niner, who is a very good friend of mine, has been since we was young. And he was he was a jungle drum and bass MC. He actually taught me how to produce a little bit. At that age, I was still kind of toying with the producing idea, but back then there was no doors and stuff. It was like, if you had money, you would have a decent studio. If you didn't, you wouldn't have a studio, or it would be real basic, right? Yeah. So I was messing around with a program called Octamed, which is wild. If you ever get a chance to check it out, it's crazy. It scrolls down in numbers. It looks mental, right? So basically, he knew how to use that. We made a few jungle tunes, but when I got to about 18, 19, he said to me, look, Raf, there's this music coming out of London. It's called grime. I reckon we should jump on it. And I was like, you know what, cool. You know, let's do it. So he goes, I'm going to MC. Yeah, you DJ and you produce. We'll both produce. I'm going to put a little crew together, because it's like a crew of people. You know what I mean? Like MCs and stuff. And we formed it, and it's called Macabre Unit, right? And Macabre Unit it's a little bit legendary. I can say that myself. We are a bit of a big deal in grime. Like, we've got a cult following. We were known for just rocking up to the rave and playing a whole hour set of our own tunes. Our MCs were absolutely ruthless. It was a thing. And we rode that wave for quite a few years. I say about 5-6 years. Ended up on One Extra. We did a Radio 1 thing with Plastician. #1s in the One Extra chart. We've done the whole shebang. Yeah. And then it kind of started to change a little bit, where people started to fall off. Grime's always been this genre that's gone up and down, right? Yeah. You know, it's quite well documented that it always holds this kind of almost...
Yeah, grime was quite big when I'm 23, and when I was 14, 15, that was kind of what first got me into like drill and rap, and even just that side of music was grime. Like JME, Skepta, like that was the first kind of people where I figured out grime from. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's cool. It's always had this kind of linear kind of journey, grime. It's kind of peaked a bit, then it's just gone back down to where it's always been. But it's always stayed very consistent. But I find that a lot of the artists almost, not intentionally maybe, but it almost acts like a stepping stone for them to move on to another genre. Either drill, or they move on to funky house, or they move on to house, or they move on to drum and bass. But there's some that have just stayed firm, right? And I was one of them people that sort of, I think it was like the technical aspect, because in the back of my head, the jungle drum and bass was always there, right? So as my skill set developed more as a producer, I started to understand how to make the more drum and bass sounds and stuff, which then led me on to not quite making grime anymore. And I was like, what is this? It's not quite grime. And then I cottoned on to dubstep, which still wasn't drum and bass influenced by any means. It was very dub influenced, the likes of Mala, Koki, Lofa, Cyrus and all them sort of people. It was very dubby, very minimal. Yeah. Scream as well, I've known Scream for years, and he was someone that, you know, funnily enough, his track, Midnight Request Line, which is a seminal track for dubstep, he said that he was just trying to make grime, and it just turned out to be that track. And then Hatcher coined the term dubstep in Big Apple Records, and there it was, a whole thing was born, right? And like for me, I fell into this sort of weird place where I wasn't making grime, wasn't quite making dubstep, so I was just riding the wave a bit. But then the sort of more techier stuff started to come through, so I signed a few releases, it was one release, a few tracks to Boca Records, and it was under the Macabre Unit name. And that was about 16 odd years ago or something like that. And then from there, things kind of went off into the dubstep thing for me. And I kept the Macabre Unit name, but I tweaked it a bit, and I called it Macabre Unit Digital, which was known as Mud, rebranded it slightly and launched it as a dubstep label, and that just blew up instantly. I linked up with a couple of lads from up north all over the country that were making this dark, techie, almost slowed down drum and bass stuff. Because I come from a jungle drum and bass era where Virus recordings, hardware, really dark tech step stuff. That's my thing, that's my bloodline, right? So always incorporating that, and that really is where the Mud sound was kind of really formed off the back of that sort of vibe. And that took me touring all around the world. I've done like 2 tours of North America, made some crazy memories, toured all over Europe, done so many things. So the label's on a bit of a hiatus. I only kind of stopped releasing on there probably about a year ago. It's like number 86 now, the release number. But I kind of always had the jungle drum and bass in my head, and I always thought that's where I need to be. So it got to like about 6-7 years ago, maybe even 8 years ago, and I thought, right, the dubstep thing, I was kind of like, it just got a bit laboured for me. Things were changing. I didn't really like where it was going. And I remember, right, because I've been working in music full time for about 7 or 8 years now. But up until that point, the record shop shut down in my early 20s. So I then went into warehousing and worked in a warehouse, built myself up as a forklift driver and a supervisor. And I did that in parallel with my music career. So for a number of years, up until like 2018, I literally would work a 9 to 5. On a Friday, I would go to the airport, I'd fly to another country, I'd DJ, probably come back on a Saturday, Sunday, and I'll be back at work on a Monday. Yeah. That's how it was for me for a number of years, right? And same with radio shows, so Rinse FM, like Cool FM, 1Extra, I'd take my clothes to work, I'd get changed, and my mate would pick me up, and we'd drive to London and we'd do it. And that's how it was for so many years, and that was the only way, right? But then it kind of got to a point where the drum and bass was always niggling away at me. And when I actually got the opportunity to work in music full time was when I worked with a company called Education and Bass, which is run by a friend of mine called Outrage Nominee. That's his 2 names. And he said, look, he had this idea of doing this music technology platform where they're sharing knowledge, tutorials and all that stuff. He wanted me to go and do that. So I took the plunge, it was a risk, but I started to do that. And at that same time, I made the conscious effort to think, right, the dubstep thing, it's not quite for me now, I'm just going to jump into the drum and bass, thinking that, right, I've now got the skill set, I can now make music, because look, I've got heroes and idols in drum and bass that I look up to. I respect everyone in my peers in all genres that I've worked with, but drum and bass got a little something there, right? Now, just quickly, there was something that I was going to say. So the working thing, this is where it ties in with, so basically, right, my artist name, as a jungle drum and bass DJ, was a Rafa D, right? Raf. So like it's Raf Lorenzo, but Rafa D was like the little thing I had as a kid, right? Then it went to Macabre Unit, and I was just known as Raf, part of Macabre Unit. Remember, it's Rafa Demon, right? Then it was R Demon, right? And I've had releases under R Demon. Then the Mud days, it changed to Demon. So I was just Demon, right? As part of Mud. Then, and the reason I said like about the work thing, I got signed off, right, with sciatica. My back's a bit effed. It's a lot better now, but it's a bit knackered, and got sciatica in one of my legs. I got signed off work for 2 months, right? And I was sitting in the studio, and this was a very pivotal moment for me, because I was making dubstep and I thought, I can't do this no more, man. This is mad. Like, I just cannot do this. It's doing nothing for me. I said, right, I need to come with a new name. And sciatic nerve, I thought, I like the word nerve, and it ties in with why I'm off work, right? But I checked out nerve, N-E-R-V-E, and of course it's everywhere, and plus people Google it, they're going to see stuff about a actual nerve in the body, right? Yeah. So I thought, what about if I flip the E for a U, so N-U-R-V-E, still says the same thing, nerve is nerve, right? Still says the same thing. And like I Googled it, there was nothing on it. I thought, oh, great, I'll just take that. So I started to make, I don't know why, I went literally just a bit mad on it. I started making this like 120, 130 sort of techno, but UK bass music sort of stuff. And I'm good friends with Pinch, right, Tectonic, yeah? And I just sent him the tunes, because me and him had a gig in Holland, and we spent like 3 hours in the back of a car, just chopping away, looking at plugins. So I kept the link there. I sent him the tunes with absolutely no sort of kind of plan for releases. I just thought, I got no links, but I know that Pinch likes playing the slower stuff. I sent to him. Instantly was like, mate, these have to come out on Tectonic. They're ridiculous. And I was like, right, okay. So I'm now releasing on Tectonic with this sort of techno stuff. A bit mad. So I did that for a bit, but then again, the drum and bass really sort of took over. And when I took the plunge to then leave work and work with education and bass kind of full time, that's when I started doing the drum and bass. And honestly, it was the most weirdest thing I've done as a creative, working in drum and bass. The relationship is so weird for me that I've had some releases on some decent labels. I've got some good links in drum and bass, but I always felt like an imposter. I always felt like an imposter, and I've never felt that, because when I first started with jungle drum bass, I was an innocent kid, just DJing. Grime, we paved the way. We led that. We were somebody. We were at the forefront. With mud and dubstep, we were also at the forefront. We were trailblazers, right? But then when we got to drum and bass, I just was dropped in this pond.
Sorry.
That might have been mine.
Yeah, I think that's me.
Right, and it just, I felt out of my depth, really, in the sense of like, I don't even know who I am here. I'm nobody. I'm nobody. And I think it was probably a little bit of ego where I couldn't. I'm used to being someone. Yeah. But I had some big releases, and then honestly, the reason that 1111 mastering come about, so I kind of parted ways, right, with education and bass, and I thought, right, I need to do my own thing. I went back to warehousing for about 6 months, where I had to keep things moving, right? So I left that, started my own business. I remember sitting in the car park, right? I had to go and do some quick temping work with my brother-in-law. I sat in the car park, 4 on 4 off I was doing, 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, my brother's on that shit.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I wouldn't, right? I remember sitting in the car park, and I had the mastering company was set up. I had the website sorted, because everything I learned with education and bass, all admin stuff, I could build a website with Wix. I could do all that stuff, right? And I thought, right, I built my website, started doing the mastering thing, because I've always been a mastering engineer for over 15, 16 years. But it's always been if you know me, you know me. I do the mastering, you pay me, cool. I didn't have an official business and website set up. So I remember sitting there and I thought, in the car park, and it come to the weekend 4 on 4 off. So it was Friday and then right through to Monday. And I sat there, it was blazing, beautiful day it was. And I sat there in the car park and I thought, nah, man, this ain't happening. This ain't happening. Off the top of my head, I thought I'm going to start a subscription. I'm going to do a subscription for mastering. Yeah. I started it at $14.99 a month, yeah, for unlimited masters. Boom, put it out there, and it just went a bit mad straight away for obvious reasons. Right? You know what I mean? Obvious reasons. And I was thinking to myself, I thought, I could be clanging out big time here. This is a big risk here, but I know myself, and I know that I can master really quickly, and I understand how people work and record labels work and music works.
Can I take your phone? Can I put...
bruv, it's mine. Just
is that your one? Sorry, I thought it was in your pocket. That's all.
It could. Just silence it. Put the little red thing on it. Stop bleeping. It's probably my garden sensor going off.
No, it's your camera. That's all.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Sorry, man. Carry on.
Yeah. So the $14.99 a month thing. I thought, right, I understand what artists like. I know the output. I know how many tunes artists can make, etc., etc. So I lean on the fact that I know how the music industry works. I know what output could be like, and I also lean on my strengths of being able to do things very quickly, efficiently, and at a professional standard. Yeah. So I lent into that, and obviously everyone questioned it. You're crazy. What are you doing? And I was like, look. I'm one of these people as well. I go against the grain. I challenge the status quo. Disruption is what I'm about in business. And probably every mastering engineer in the world wants to kill me right now, and that's kind of, I'm okay with that. Yeah. No one's come at me, but I could imagine there's a lot of talk.
What's the rough price for like what would you say is like a standard price for for one song not for a mixer, just for a master?
Mate, there's some people charge £80 a track.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Yeah. Some people, the standard's like probably about £20-30 a track. I'll charge £10 per track. Yeah. But the subscription's now $19.99 a month. Yeah, for unlimited masters. And honestly, it's all right. I can manage it. Not many people could. The admin side of it's a headache and stuff, keeping it. But I've got a good system in place. I know what I'm doing with that. And I have some days where I'm like, oh my days, this is crazy. But I have some days where it's calm. You know, so I just sort of juggle it. I'm certainly not at capacity, and that's why I just keep growing it. But it was one of them things where I sat in that car park that day and I thought, nah, mate, this ain't happening. So it started to grow. So I set myself a little plan. I thought, right, at the end of the year, 2024, right, the end of 2024, was it 2023? I think it was the end of 2024. I said to myself, right, at the end of this year, then I'm going to build it up and I'm going to take the plunge and I'm just going to go for myself, just work full time, just me. But then we got called into a meeting like a month later, and the boss said, look, the company's gone. It's gone into administration. You've got about 2 weeks, 3 weeks to find a new job, and that's it. And I thought, you know what? I'm out. This is my chance. I'm done, right?
That decision was made for you.
I made a couple phone calls to people, lined up a bit of ad hoc work to keep me rolling. I go, look, this is my situation. Hook it up. 2 years later, I'm still there, and things are thriving and moving. It was a risk, but you know what? Like, I trust my gut. My intuition's strong, and I trust that. My brain, I don't trust my brain. The brain messes everything up. My gut tells me everything I need to know. The brain kicks in after and starts going, don't do that. You got to pay your bills. And like, squash that. Like, my family don't want for nothing. I don't want for nothing. Everything's good. Yeah. Now, you know, it's down to me, and I'll tell you what I love more than that. And I told myself, I ain't never having anyone tell me how to dress, what time to be somewhere, when I can go on holiday, when my money's going to be in the bank, when I can spend time with my family. I'm not doing that ever again. I will never work. I've rendered myself unemployable. Swear to God, I have. And you know what? Once I lent into that and I harnessed that, it's just, everything just falls into place.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of it's mindset. I've had to do a lot of work on myself. Like, I practice a lot of stoicism. I don't know if you've heard of
do you know what, Archie? One of we had an artwork guy who's he's a graphic designer, but he's the guy that made like all our brand package and everything. And he's like huge on stoicism. He told me to watch a podcast, and I haven't watched it yet.
Mate, I've read a lot of books on it, but then I stopped reading, because actually one of the things is, like, you need to stop absorbing and start actually doing. So I stopped reading books on it and stuff, because I thought I need to just live this. Now look, mean, without going into stoicism too much, but it's a very old practice. It's not a religion, it's a way of life.
Yeah.
You can take some of it, leave some of it. It's over 3,000 years old and stuff, so some of it's not really going to work now, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of it that does, and it's all to do with mindset, right? And it's helped me a lot. And I just kind of I live my life with a glass half full type of mentality. It could always be worse. Yeah, even when things go bad, or bad in my world, I only have to look left or right, and I'm like, whoa, like things could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
You know, and I count my blessings every day because I feel blessed and privileged to be able to do what I do. But at the same time, it wasn't handed to me on a plate.
Yeah.
I don't believe in luck. Not luck as what people think it is. Luck is a byproduct of circumstance. So let's look at it in this way, right? People say that people that win the lottery are lucky. But what does that person need to do to win the lottery?
Buy a ticket.
Just like everyone else.
Now, does 10 million quid fall into your bank out of nowhere? Of course it doesn't. But if you don't buy that ticket, how are you ever going to be in with that slimmest of chances, man? How are you ever? You know, so people say, oh, you're lucky. Oh, you know, you're lucky to have that car or that. Yeah, but you don't know what I went through to get that. You call it luck.
Yeah.
Lucky in your eyes. You know what I mean? You want to pay the insurance on that, or you want to put juice in the tank on that. You want to call me lucky, right? So it's like, it's a byproduct of circumstance, and I'm big on perspective. Yeah, and it's all about looking at things in like a certain way, and you have to manage that, manage expectations, especially in the music industry. Jesus, you've got to manage that. You know as well.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a tough space. A lot of questioning yourself. A lot of questioning if what you're doing is the right thing to do, or even like you said earlier, if there is a right thing to do.
There is no right or wrong, and you never arrive. I don't know everything, and I won't ever claim to.
Yeah.
There's always something. Have humility. Be open. It's not a problem. You don't have to know everything. You certainly don't arrive. Today is great. Tomorrow might be bad. Try and live for now. I know it sounds all cliche and all that, but it's true, man. Yesterday's gone. Today is now, right here. Tomorrow, they ain't promised. Next hour ain't promised. You've got to try and live. It's so difficult, though. It's so difficult, just in life in general. But in music, it moves so fast. And
I feel like it moves quicker now than what it ever has as well. In the sense of like you make a hit. If it's not like a tight, especially I'm noticing it more in house music now. Like you'll have a hit, and all these top DJs will play it for maybe like a week.
Yeah. Your shelf
and
life,
it's in and out now.
Life is
it's crazy.
Like that,
But that's one thing I noticed. There's the shelf life of a good tune, unless it's like a really good tune now. But even them ones, because they get played so much within a short space of time, within like 3-4 weeks, you're like, oh, is it? Skip that one, you know? Like we've heard that so much over the last couple of weeks, but
it's a saturated industry.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I started DJing in the late 90s, mate, it was few and far between. You wouldn't even know another DJ, like, unless you went to a club.
Yeah.
Now, who isn't doing it? And it's so accessible. It's a blessing and a curse.
This was what I was going to ask you earlier with like, when you was talking about hardware and stuff and about like, accessibility into actually being able to try and make music, or right, I can get myself a little setup now. Like, how much harder was it back in the day to make music or even just play music?
Man.
To obtain music was harder back in the day, you know?
So, like, my first setup, right, that I had was an Akai S2000 sampler.
Yeah.
Right, I think it had eight ins or something like that. A little mixing desk, and I had a compressor and a reverb unit for whatever reason. The compressor, I didn't even know what it did. The reverb unit was pretty cool, right? And I had these speakers, and that's it. And I had this Atari 1040 ST. Honestly, the screen was like this. It was green. I had Cubase on it, right? I remember the mouse didn't work properly. My dad put a hole in it for me, because if I put like this thin little bit of metal, you know, like a paper clip. Put that in it, it would work, right? If it ever got stuck, yeah. And my Akai jog wheel. So when I used to have to find the sample start point to cut a sample, it would skip. So I'll be there for ages doing it. And honestly, it was horrible. It wasn't like, oh, I remember them days. It was garbage. It was the worst thing ever. It was so stressful.
Do you know what? I can only imagine, because even with like technology is kind of built for you to do it now. So it's like it wants you to do it now, right? But we have, especially with like long format videos, we've had our ass kicked so many times, man. We've had our ass kicked, like even just little things, like just rendering a video out. Like if it's an hour and 15 minutes long, it probably takes like half hour, 45 minutes to render it from the camera to the computer, and then from the computer to the editing software, then back from the editing software to the computer, and then upload it on YouTube and Spotify. It's like 6 hours before you've actually got what you need to do done. But sorry, carry on, because I really want to hear about, like, because obviously people talk about workflow and stuff now, and like it's very easy to get lost in the door. Yeah, but like, yeah, how was it getting any sort of workflow back then?
I didn't even know what the word was back then. For me, it was more, I was trying to make tunes like people that I admired and aspired to sound like. That's all I was trying to do, innocently. I didn't know what I was doing. My mates would come around, we'd get absolutely trolleyed, be beer cans everywhere, all kinds of stuff going on. And we were just making what we thought were tunes back then. They were messy, right? They were absolute, they were just rubbish. But I'll tell you what that did, that taught me the fundamentals about attack, decay, sustain, release, ADSR, them little things, right? About reverbs, about MIDI. It taught me them things, the foundations, and from there, and
probably to a really high level as well. Like even the fact of working with hardware. See, I would not have the first clue what to do with a bit of hardware.
I hate hardware. I think it's just the most annoying thing ever. Like the callback on it, the recall, like it's annoying, man. Like it's nice to have hardware if you have it set up in like a way that is easy for you to incorporate it into the digital domain. Because no matter what, if you have a nice big hardware studio, there is going to be a huge part of your workflow is going to be done in the DAW. And used in a digital way, because it's just how it is, right? However, you know, if you really want some cool, unique sounds and to build a good sound, spending a couple grand on a really good hardware synth is probably going to give you that, right? It's going to give you the richness, it's going to give you a little bit something extra than Serum that 95% of the industry is using, right? Or Massive that people still use, or other synths and stuff, right? Or Vital, which is a free synth that people are rinsing. So for me, it was more like a dojo. It was like it's a bit of a blur. It was crazy, like working in that way. I look back on it now and I think there was no way I was never going to make tunes like I wanted to on that. But it taught me a lot about what music production was about. Very quickly, like you're sitting in a room for 10 hours, like looking at a screen. It's not, then it wasn't fun. It was just a nightmare. It's crazy, right? But we did it. We almost swapped the PlayStation for that. So we'd come around, we'd do whatever, we'd get drunk, we'd have a Friday night, but it'd be at the computer trying to make a tune. I remember once, I swear to God, right, it's so crazy, right? So it's in the studio with my mate, it was me, Neil and Kev, right? and we started making this kind of garage tune, right? 'Cause my mate Neil, right, he was a garage head, right? And he had a better understanding, he'd been to college and stuff, so he had a better understanding of how to make a tune, right, with Cubase, right? So me and Kev got a bit mashed, and we spent like almost 24 hours working on this tune, but me and Kev passed out on the bed. And we woke up to Neil sitting at the computer like this, right? Because I had this little stool, right? Real little stool, and he had this thing on his lap. He was like this. He was a big lad as well, right? And he right, so we left it where we had this little, we figured out how to reverse these drums. So we put a little spin back before the drop. This was like, oh my God, we've made it. Honestly, but to do something like that then was not easy. It was stressful, man. You had to like send the drums to another planet for them to come back reversed, right? And the carrier pigeon would fly them back and land on your legs. Do you know what I mean? It weren't the click of a button.
Oh, mate, that's so funny. That's so funny.
It was a very stretched out thing.
It's a whole process,
But we fell asleep and we woke up and he'd put about 100 spin backs in this tune. So every few bars was going, and me and Kev looked at each other, we was like, what's he done to this tune? And he was going, guys, I'm sorry, but I don't know how to change the spin backs. And we ended up with this tune that had loads of spin backs in it. It just made me laugh. And like, I look back at them things, I think, wow, it was really difficult to do things back then. Look, it probably wasn't difficult for the likes of Optical, Ed Rush, and all these people that were making really cool tunes like we wanted to make back then, but we had limitations.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Limitations is a really, really, really important thing, I think, because if we look at the music that was made 20 to 25 years ago, it's still getting battered now all over the radio, still getting played. It's the stuff that you remember.
More so than anything, because there's like, I feel like we're probably, well, we may be referring to the same sort of songs, but like the classics, what is it about the classics that makes them so playable to the point where you never get bored of them? So like, you could play it, you could hear it all the time, and then 3 months down the line, if you haven't heard that classic for a little while, you play it again, you're like, oh fucking hell, why do I never get bored of this? But music now, you get really bored of it really quickly. Why? Why is that?
I personally think is back then.
Is it a skill thing? Is it a skill thing?
Well, yeah. I think, so back in the day, we had to prioritise creativity over the technicalities. Because the technicalities just they didn't exist the way they do now. Yeah. You know, it's the same thing, right? So there's I think there's a psychology test they've done on people that if you go into a shop and you've got 100 chocolate bars, you're more than likely going to struggle and maybe just go, do you know what? I'll leave it. I can't deal with that. And if you go into a shop and there's just 5, you're probably going to go, yeah, I'll take that one. There's something to that, right? Yeah. We are absolutely sport for choice now, to the point where the technicalities overshadow the creativeness. That's why you said that people only play a track for a week now. People are inundated with high quality music, technically high quality music.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of new music that does not stick in my head.
Yeah,
back in the day, I'm still humming tunes
soulless
from my youth, right? And and you know, like, some people might say, oh yeah, but that's because it imprinted on you from a young age, and you attach memories to it.
No, I don't believe that. That's bullshit.
A melody sticks in your head, and like, you listen to a lot of music, like the likes of Armand van Helden, Todd Edwards, Todd Terry, and even grime stuff, and all genres, jungle. You listen to it technically, and it's a bit of a bloody mess half the time. Yeah, in respectfully, but it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
And they'll be the first to say it. There's drums overlapping, basses are flapping around, and something sounds a bit out of key slightly, you know.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
But the music, you don't care. Because music's energy, it's vibe.
I say that to Fred when there's like little notes and stuff, and I'm like, yeah.
There's something, like simplicity, there's something to simplicity, minimalistic stuff. Like, that's why grime now, I launched the Macabre Unit thing. So I started an Instagram, probably, I'd say weren't even a couple months ago. I started it, instantly everyone come out the woodwork. Like, where have you been? You're back. And it's just, because we're someone, it's easy for me to just go, cool, we're back. I'm doing it, I'm treading carefully, because there's a lot of people that have not left grime and been there for 20 years. And I don't want to just come back, oh, here they are, do you know what I mean? Nah, it's you know, look, we're doing new music, it's there.
Do you know what, sorry to interrupt, right? The circle, so I can only imagine now, right? The circle of producers now is, in the grand scheme of things, still smaller than most other things, right? But back in the day, if you was a producer back in the day, I can only imagine how much smaller the pool would have been, and how much like more tighter that community would have been back in the day, because of the accessibility and stuff. But going on from that, can you explain the post we was talking about earlier on the Macabre Instagram? Yeah. So what was it? The you made the beat for the.
Yeah. So it's a track called "Them Not Ready Yet," right? Which is by Niner. So that's his track, and basically. So that post is from a Slimzee mix. So Slimzee did, I'm sure, was it the Sidewinder Summer Ball? So it was a Sidewinder set. I don't know if you're familiar with the Sidewinder garage events that you used to have, right?
It does ring a bell, yeah.
It's from Northampton, massive events, right? So basically, Slimzee was pretty much one of their residents, right, back then. And he got asked to do, I think, a couple of sets, but one was a set that he did. I think it was Sidewinder. Might get shot for that. I don't know. It might be something else. But anyway, right? He started with that track that Nina made, right? Them and Ready, and Dizzee jumped on it, right? Now, Slimzee and Genius, they were huge supporters of us straight from the get-go. We sent them tunes in the post, because that's how it was back then. We sent CDs in the post. We got hold of it. Same with Plastician, right? He got hold of it. Scream and all, Joker as well, and all them type of heads, and we managed to get pretty good traction really early in grime, because the pool wasn't big, right, as you were saying, and we was the first crew outside of London that really had something about them, right? So Slimzee's the champion our stuff, right, and he played that on there, and that was like a massive moment, you know, and from them things just, I mean, obviously, you see what happened with Dizzee. He went on, because I think he was about 15 years old.
Yeah, he sounds well young.
You know, so it was him and Wiley on there. And and it just, from there, it just went kind of mad for us. And there's something to that as well. Like, I was actually speaking to someone the other day, and this kind of ties in with what you were saying as well, with the output of music. People will release everything now. Everything comes out. Oh man, do you know how many tunes? Like, I think there's some crazy, like 100,000 tunes uploaded to Spotify every day.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like, that's crazy. Now, all of these tunes technically will probably be up there. People.
I've got some good question. You just sparked something in my head. Sorry, you just sparked something in my head.
But back then, so we were known for having our dub plates, right? We were known for having I could churn out 10 tunes a week, no problem, right? I think over that period of the Macabre Unit time, when it was really there for 5 or 6 years, I think we had about 10 releases, all on vinyl, because that's how it was back then. And that was probably 5% of our archive that got released. Whereas now, everything's released.
It's all digital, isn't it?
That's what built up the cult following for us, because people were like, where can I get these tunes? And we're like, you probably won't. And people just, they'd hunt us down, they'd follow us around, mate, there was people outside the Radio 1 and 1 Extra offices waiting for us. We actually thought it was a bit of a drama in that, but it weren't. It was kids just wanting to ask us for tunes and stuff. It was just mental, man. That side of it, the mystique, has gone in the artist.
Do you know what?
It's gone, bruv.
It's mad you said that.
Everyone's like, hi guys, check out my tunes. But where's the mystique gone?
Do you know what?
It's gone.
We went and watched an artist. It's literally, this was in the last episode we spoke about this, right? So there was we went to like a small house festival, and the last guy that come on was the guy that did the festival. He booked a set of artists called Funk Cartel, and nowadays everyone, and I'm guilty of this as well, like everyone is, like we said, they're too open, there's no sort of mystique about things, right? Well, when we see these guys, it's the first time I've seen a set of artists in a long time where they've had that mystique. Like, they don't really say anything. They're kind of, they both had glasses, so you couldn't really see
eyes down thing.
They couldn't see into it. You wasn't getting no reads off of them.
No hand clapping.
Yeah, no, he weren't getting no reads off of them. And then we was talking about it, because we was pretty blown. Like, it was such a good set to watch, and we was blown away by it. And I was like, I was going, do you know what? Like, I would love to get them guys on a podcast, but they've got such a little mystique about them that this would completely kill that. Do you understand what? Like, I don't want to know what's behind. Like, you're pretty cool. Stay cool. Don't ruin it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
it's true.
It's funny you said that, because it was only when we was there that I really understood that, and I was like, shit. Now I understand that when some DJs walk in, everyone looks, because they've built that mystique, and you're like, oh shit, all right, let me just let him do what he needs, because it's aura, isn't it? It's
aura, man. It's energy, right? We used to go to a rave, and the only way to make connections back in the day was to go to a rave, right? And me and my boys would be at the back, and Andy C would walk in and be like, fucking hell, it's Andy C, man. Oh God, it's Andy C. And then we're like, go on, man, just go and chat to him. I'm like, no. And then you go and talk to me, walk off, you'd be like, go the other way and make out. Honestly, but that's gone, man. Everyone's so accessible. Now look, it's a good thing, right? It is a good thing, because there's a lot of artists out. I mean, look at Scream, for example, right? He's an absolute beast of an artist. But he's Scream, he's Ollie. He's absolutely out there, warts and all. He's Ollie. If you know him, wears his heart on his sleeve, absolute diamond of a bloke, absolutely trailblazing artist. And there is no mystique with Scream. Everyone knows him, and it is what it is. So it does work.
Where was we at roughly, babe? Do you remember?
I was gonna say, but I didn't wanna.
Mystique.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Cool. No, I meant just time-wise roughly.
Oh, right.
Oh, like 55.
Oh, sweet.
It's all good, mate. Listen,
It's like gone past 2 now, so you're not late.
Yeah.
It's 8 minutes past 2.
Alright, sweet. Yeah, that's cool. No, we got
good.
time.
Mate,
Yeah.
I'm cool to chinwag for
rolling,
however
mate.
long, man. It's
No
all
worries.
good.
No, you're right, babe.
No,
That's
you're good.
cool.
You're good.
It's cool.
So yeah, I mean, like with, you know, it's important that we don't get caught up on the, oh, it's not like it used to be. I can't stand that. It does my head in. There's a lot of artists that are really vocal about that, and it's always the older artists as well. That are like, everything changed. The kids are ruining everything. Blah blah blah. I've never been that person. I embrace change. I embrace how it's going.
Yeah, you seem like you've embraced change really
you have
well.
To. I'm not being looked at as one of them people. I totally refuse to, because like you have to have your finger on the pulse. But I think it's, for me, I love the fact that I remember what it was like before the internet. I remember what it was like when MSN was a thing, and we used to get our tunes off LimeWire. I'd wait for someone to message me on MSN. It'd be on my laptop waiting, like MySpace and all of that stuff. I'm really grateful for that, and to see the evolution of how things have gone. But I wouldn't want it to go back to that.
Yeah.
God, how long is that? Using my Akai sampler trying to find the start of a kick drum. Please, I'll be there for a week. Like, I don't want that. So I think it's really important that we don't get caught on that. But it's also good to talk about things and sort of discuss how it goes. Because I teach a lot of music business as well for people. And one of the first things I say is, look, I'll tell you everything I know. I do not care about that, because you're not me and I'm not you. And it doesn't matter what we do. We're never going to cross paths in that sense. You're never going to take from me if I tell you everything. No, because we're different people. But the one thing I stress is that I'm not saying that what I show you and tell you is going to put you in a place where you're going to become successful. That's down to you.
Yeah.
But I'll share my knowledge. That's not a problem. It doesn't matter whether it's took me 20 years to accrue it in here. I'll tell you it in 5 minutes. And I hope it helps you.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed with helping people.
Yeah.
It took me such a long time to figure that out. But that's what it boils down to for me. And that's why I share my tips and I do what I do. And I don't really care. Like, it's not going to take away from me, you know?
Yeah, do you know what? I've even though I'm not at that stage yet where I can really take your tips on board and go, right, yeah, I understand that now. But there's them tips definitely would help a lot of people. And this just goes on to my next question. Like, what are the top 5 mistakes that you see from, like, and for any genre that you see, but what are like the top 5 mistakes you'll see on someone's mixdown where you go, right, that's going to be a problem?
So, start with a big one, which is one that commonly speak about with people, is because we make bass music, right? Whether it's house, techno, drum and bass, it's all bass music. So people always overcook the low end. They always have it too loud.
Yeah.
Because they want it to sound bassy. It's understandable, right? Makes sense. But then what that does is it takes away the clarity from the rest of the track. So what do? They push the tops. So they push their hi-hats up because they think, oh yeah, then we get a balance then, so it's a bit clearer. And what that does is that it makes the tune sound super bassy, but then everything above that area ends up sounding quite thin. And what I try to explain to people is that clarity, because hi-hats are not, they're designed for rhythmic purposes for your track, for your drums. They're not designed to provide clarity. It's to give a bit of top end and a bit of shine, but clarity comes from balance. And one thing I tell a lot of people is, look, turn down your hi-hats, turn down your lows, and everything in between will just breathe. And it happens every time where people are like, have this moment of clarity where they're like, oh my God, that's mad. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
So that for me is at the top. That's a big one. That's a big one for me. Second one, I don't know if I'll have 5, but I'll definitely have a few.
Or just the things that you see consistently and you go, right,
the other thing is bad advice. Taking on bad advice and get like seriously, I put up a post yesterday about it and it got some quite good traction. Is that, like, this is just as an example. I'll talk about limiting. I've got to be careful, I might get lynched. The limiting gods might come and get me, but limiting. So there's a lot of people out there that say mix into a limiter straight away, right? Now, this can work, this can be quite effective. But if you're telling a beginner to do that doesn't even understand what a limiter does, it's potentially going to cause problems. I had to explain and help 3 people just last week that have been told to mix into a limiter. They've been doing it for a few years now, and it's totally gone the wrong way for them, because they're now being asked to provide pre-masters for tracks. They turn their limiters off, and everything just falls apart because they're mixing into a brick wall, and they're not doing it in a way that's probably best recommended that they do it. Because look, that technique and process can and does work for a lot of people. Very experienced producers that know. And for me, it's more of a stylistic thing than, you don't need to mix into a limiter to have a good mix. No, it's a stylistic thing. It does something, to the transients, to the tone. So unpicking bad habits is something. So one of the things that people do is they take information that's on the internet and they run with it. Always question things, try things, because the problem is everyone wants a shortcut. No one wants to be like me and wait 25 years to be able to get to a place where you actually like, things are starting to click. I'm by no means anywhere near where I want to be, because I'm ambitious, right? That's my own personal thing, right? But a lot of people give their right arm to be where I am right now with the knowledge that I've got. But they don't want to put the work in. They want a fast track. So somebody come along and go, oh no, you don't need to learn that. Just do this and you'll be good. You're missing out the learning aspect of it. Learn everything, learn the rules, break the rules, undo them, but you got to have something to break in the first place, because it come out and bite you, and that's common across the board. Like I put up a post today about people selling courses and stuff and tuition, but not leading with the fact that I can share some really good knowledge for you. They're saying, if you come on this course, you get signed to this label, you can play at this gig. I don't like that. I don't like people selling success. You cannot sell somebody the idea of success. That's absolutely mental. That's really, you're playing with people. I feel like
the opposite,
it does.
It just draws people away.
You're preying on their not their hopes, ambitions. Like I said in a post today that I put up, their desperation, because everyone's desperate to get there. Like millions of people, they want to be that superstar. It's the same as the footballing world. Look at these kids, man. Not even a percentage of them get through. It's heartbreaking. The music's 10 times that.
I was going to say,
not everyone can play football, right, at a level, but a lot of people can make good music at a good level because it's so accessible. So that it's a minefield. I don't like selling success. Anyway, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but anyway.
Where does it go going forward then? Because obviously you've been in the game a long time. How do I explain this in the best way possible? Obviously everything's kind of like numbers driven now, social media driven. Does it ever get to a point where we have to just go full circle and, I don't know, it goes back to an underground, especially for, I'm talking specifically from a house music standpoint, like things are getting a little bit silly in the scene at the moment in the terms of just like,
house bods do things quite a lot different. Like I master for quite a few house labels and some disco labels, like overseas in Spain and Italy, and they've got about 10 labels. They're rolling with 10 different houses, because house is such a broad genre and subgenre. There's so many different
there's
parts
there's a lot of subgenres in house music now.
It's a numbers game. It's heavy on that, because for me it's probably the most closest genre, and if I'm wrong, then kind of correct me, but it's the closest thing to commercial music that you're going to get from something that's electronic and underground.
It's, especially now, like you got obviously artists. When I first started realising I wanted to do something in the space was watching Josh Baker grow, and now it's got to a point where he's obviously, it's not like the same with you. It's not just like, this has been like a 12 year project for him. But now people are seeing him towards the end of it and they're like, oh, he's just blown up overnight. No, he's been releasing for 10 years, But he's at now a stage where he's making sort of different type of, his music's getting played on the radio now. So he's broke that barrier. And I feel like with house music, it's definitely a lot, unless you're Sammy Virgie or you're someone like this, it's definitely easier to break through that barrier in that genre. as a house artist, where you can it's a little bit more user friendly in that sense, I would say.
Yeah,
like you could scare people off with some dubstep and some drum and bass quite easily, especially on rate. Yeah, it's a lot safer. Yeah, definitely.
Well, look, most of the music that we hear, like jungle drum bass, where does it stem from? Where's the foundations? Acid house.
Oh,
you know?
do you know what?
Is it acid house? House from like the Chicago, like from what the early '80s rave music, like all that. Where does that beat structure come from?
We're just sort of, well, me personally, I'm just sort of finding out now what music I really like, because we're discovering loads of different music at the moment. It's like, even with like when I'm making music, I always find that I'll end up down that same sort of path. Like I'll hear one sound and I'll be like, oh, but I used that last time. But I'm like, but that's what I want. Like I want to get that in there again.
Yeah, do it, man. I think, you know, this is another thing as well. You see, what you say there is a really profound thing. I've used it already. But back in the day, they had no choice but to rinse them sounds, because that's all they had.
Yeah.
So that's where like the familiarity and the working to limitations, there's something to that.
Yeah.
You can have 1,000 sounds to pluck through and pick through, but if you've got them few cool sounds, because look at waveforms, right? You're familiar with Serum and wave tables and waveforms, right?
Yeah, I'm not as familiar as I should be, but yeah.
No, but so if you open up Serum's wave tables, there's about 300 wave tables.
Yeah.
Different, they all tweak differently. Back in the day, there was four core sounds.
Yeah, what's it?
Square, sine, triangle, and a rectangle.
Saw, innit?
Saw.
Yeah.
Saw, square, sine, triangle. Yeah? Right? Rectangle. And they are the foundations of electronic music, them sounds. All the basses that you hear from back then, they all come from them sounds. All the wave tables are made and derived from them cool sounds. They just tweet. And like I make a point of, whenever I'm working with synthesis, I'm making basses from scratch, I'll use them 4 core sounds, them waveforms. Always use them waveforms, and I can make whatever I want from them. Some wave tables are cool, of course, but it's them limitations, man. Limitations. And the processing that comes, and the creativity, not the technicalities, but what's in here.
Yeah, see, the sound design stuff, that scares me. I'm not going to lie.
Sound design's the most fun part.
As a fresh producer and someone that's still learning the ropes, that really does scare me. Like the mix down and master stage. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty confident I could do a good mix down. Like following a tutorial, I feel like I could pretty much get myself to where I need to be. Mastering, that's a whole different ball game, because I feel like people don't separate that enough to where they go, oh, you're a producer. But no, most of your favourite artists are getting their tracks mixed and mastered, you know? So obviously separating that, but with sound design it's hard, because I find when I get most like uninspired is when I'm sitting there clicking through samples and I'm like, I know what sound I want in my head, but I don't really know how to make it, you know? So
it's it's a lot when you've got too much there at your disposal. But sound design, man, like I'm still stuck on that. Actually, the most fun thing.
Yeah, do you know what?
It's got no right. So for me, making music is completely sound design. If we look at the actual words, designing sound from a kick drum, from a snare, people always relate it to the bass and the creative, wacky stuff, right? That gets thrown around, but it's all sound design. And once I got that in my head, it's just a playground. I don't get writer's block because of that. I've never had writer's block. I've never gone, don't know what to do. I just create sound. And honestly, you sit there for hours and just open up a synth, and honestly, you spend half a day, rather than trying to make a tune, open up Serum, open up some synths and just twist stuff up, record it into audio, stick it in a folder with a bunch of drums that you find, just do a day of sampling, then get in the studio. And I'm telling you, you will knock out tune after tune.
We'll try and select like a load of samples. I've got loads on it now, but we'll go through that and I'll be like, right, let's pick some drums, let's pick a few loops that I like. Once the samples are done, most of the other stuff will sort of fall into place. Well,
it's all about sounds.
Right, I've got a few more for you, all right? So what's your favourite part of being a mastering engineer? Or just overall, what is the favourite part of your job?
Favourite part of my job?
As a whole, so with everything that you do as your personal brand / business, what is your favourite part of all of it?
Favourite part of it is bringing people's vision audibly of their music to life. So for example, when someone sends me a track and sometimes they say, oh, you know, I've had it mastered here and it don't sound good, there's something wrong with the mix, etc., etc. I'll say, look, just send it to me. I'll master it. Then I get a message back going, mate, you've blown my mind with this. This is unreal.
Yeah, I'm open for that.
Regardless of whether I've been paid or not, whatever. But that there makes my day. I just think, you know what? Because me, it's about helping people, man. And people, they get lost in their own sort of world with it, and then they start questioning, is it their skills? And look, like sometimes the mix can always be worked on. Nothing's ever perfect. There's a lot I can do at mastering stage. If I can't, it goes back to the producer, but I'll guide and advise, go, look, turn your kick down a bit, take the bass down a bit, or tone down the hi-hats and send it back to me. But yeah, to answer your question, it's giving people back their track in a much better place. Yeah. That's a buzz for me, man. I like that. Because if I make people like, work your magic, you're a magician, you're a wizard, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I'm just someone that spent a hell of a lot of time working on this stuff.
Perfecting your craft,
that's why I had to disassociate myself with being an artist that masters, as opposed to I'm a mixing and mastering engineer and a mentor that also makes music. Yeah. Because, like, I understand it's not about mastering house, grime, dubstep. It's working with frequencies. I'm an audio engineer. I understand frequencies and sonics.
This is exactly what I'm trying to explain.
And audibly.
This is what I'm trying to explain to people. Is if you can get to that point where you know how to process things, you know what to look for. Like obviously it will span across all genres, won't it? Because it's at that stage.
Frequencies are frequencies. 0 to 30k. Let's say we don't hear past 19.5k anyway. Right, our ears don't pick it up, but I understand that frequency spectrum is a frequency spectrum. Whether it's on house, techno, heavy metal, kids' nursery rhymes, ambience, it's the frequency spectrum. When you understand how that works, you can turn your hand to anything, you know, and it's that really.
Right, next one. What is your least favourite part of the job?
My least favourite part of the job. I'll tell you what my least favourite part of the job is. And let me hedge this carefully. The loudness war. Now, we sort of unpack that a bit. People want their music loud. This is a thing now.
See, I only just found out about, so the origination of the loudness wars was on radio, was it not? So that when you played your song on the radio, it would be louder than the other songs, and then automatically you would pick towards it.
But then all these radios now compress everything to deaf anyway, and actually the stuff that is mixed and mastered really loud sounds crap because the compressor squashed it down to sit alongside that Katy Perry track or that Billie Eilish tune that's not been smashed into a limiter. And their track sounds relatively okay and the other track sounds smashed to pieces. So it kind of goes against that, but the loudness war is something that's progressively got more and more profound in music. Mostly in drum and bass, it's a real big thing. Neurofunk is extremely loud, but Neurofunk producers are extremely technically advanced and they can do loud and they can do it really well. Because look, any track can be loud, but does it sound good loud or absolutely awful loud, right? And I have quite a few people that want music really loud, but they're not quite understanding that it takes a certain type of track, style, genre, and also the mix contributes toward a track being able to be loud. So the thing I hate most is probably having to have the awkward conversation with people sometimes to sort of explain without patronising or being in any type of way like, oh, it shouldn't be this loud. It's not really about that, because if I can get it loud, I'll get it loud for you, but the mix ain't really up to it. I'm gonna have to really go back into the mix. But then also, you're asking me to have it, let's say -5 LUFS. This type of music sits really well at about -7. Because it's got all it's like minimal roll in D&B, let's say. It's not like a thrashy, gritty sort of track that can be up there a lot quicker. So that's always one. When I see a request come through for, can I have it -5 or -4 LUFS, but it's a liquid D&B tune, I'm like, nah, that's not going to work. So that's a thing that kind of frustrates me. It's not like, oh no, it just frustrates me a bit because I think, oh man, like people, and again, misinformation, man. Misinformation. People are getting there, oh, it's loud, it's loud, 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 loud. Whoa, like, you want your music to be dynamic, you want it to be sonically pleasing, and you want it to be loud, but pushed to the brink of where you can have the best of both or all worlds, let's say.
Yeah.
You know, and where it gets things where some people, and this is the other thing as well, some people will send their reference master over and be like, I've got it to -6 LUFS, can you get it to this please? And I'll listen to theirs and it sounds horrible. And I'm like, yeah, but not really. Like, I'll be like, I'm not pushing it that far because it's not gonna work, sort of thing. And again, that's because it's misinformation. Do you know what I mean? So people are taking that top level information, running with it, rather than I'm peeling back the layers a bit and going, well, hold on a minute, you know. And I think that's where that can be a little bit frustrating, you know. Cool. Amongst WeTransfer also being a bit of a jerk, not sending my files when I want it to. For some reason now I can't receive direct transfers. So if WeTransfer stumble across this, sort it out.
So just technical shit again. Right, last thing, because we have got to get you out of here nice and soon. What's your advice to? Because I feel like it's even more taboo now, really, than ever. Because everyone wants to be an artist and a DJ, but no one wants to be a mastering engineer. I feel like that's something you just fall into these days. But what is your advice to the few and far between audio and mastering engineers? What's your advice to them?
What to just
as a whole? I mean, you're at a point now where your Instagram's doing well. You know, things are starting to make a bit of sense for you. You know, what would you say to people with just mindset stuff? Obviously, I know we're not going to go into technicalities here, but
I think what mindset. I tell you what. Never ever stop banging the drum for what you're doing. There's never a time where I've not believed. If we're talking specific about the mixing and mastering service, what I'm offering as a USP with my mastering company, my pricing, so my whole like kind of ethos behind it is to help artists and record labels. I'm not out here trying to fleece people. I have to be paid for my time, of course, but it's a minimum thing because I can make my money in other places. I know how to make money. It's about giving back to the scene. So to bring it back in, I've never stopped believing in my service and my product. Now, times I've even scratched my head thinking, am I tripping here? Why is it not? Why are people not really picking up on this? And the missing link for me was the social media, which actually what brought me here, because you coming off the back of my videos popping off. And honestly, now that I'm seeing it and the way my inbox is popping off, now I'm like, I knew it. I knew that. I knew what I had. It just weren't reaching people. So my advice to people is, you're going to have, oh my God, the peaks and troughs. You're going to have up and downs. You're going to have some days where you're going to be questioning your existence. But you know what? Those are the days that build your character, like seriously, and just keep banging the drum. Just keep banging the drum. Because you know what? You never know who's watching and who's listening.
No, that's it.
I took that from a young kid. Oh, mate, I spent 10 years playing to like 5 people. Yeah. Overseas, I'd fly 3 or 4 hours, go to another country and play to like 10 people.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I always gave the same energy than I would if I was playing to 1,000 people. You know why? And then people would pick up on that is because you never know who's in that crowd. You never know who's watching or listening. Always give it your best and always keep your integrity intact and just soldier it, man.
No, that's it.
It'll be all right. Seriously. Like,
Thank you so much for coming on today. Right, people,
you're welcome.
That was episode 11 of the Househeads podcast. Make sure you go and follow this guy up. Producers, DJs, artists, whatever. 1111 Master on Instagram. You on TikTok?
Nah, I'm too old for TikTok.
Fuck TikTok. We don't like TikTok
I'm too old for TikTok. I ain't got enough hair for now. People will pick me off on TikTok. But who's this old guy?
Seriously though, guys. 1111 Master, and make sure you go check him out. This guy can help you out. Tons of knowledge, tons of experience in the game. That'll be it. I think like, subscribe, comment. Make sure we're getting loads of interactions on these, but you guys are not hitting that subscribe button enough. Follow us, subscribe. Make sure you support these guys as well because travelled down 2 hours today to come film the podcast, to come share some knowledge. So
do what you got to do.
We appreciate that and thank you very, very much. We hope you enjoyed. Adios.
Nice.
Brilliant. All right, thank you, man. That was sick, bro.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you very much.